everybody to the August 1st, 2019 Town Board meeting. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Tyler Lane, our August Junior Deputy Supervisor, they had an emergency, so he will be with us at our next meeting. Public input?
Good evening. Is it working?
Turn it on.
Turn it on. Green.
Green. Good evening, board members. I am Fred Ungara, Chairman of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Excuse me. Speaking today only as the chairman, not as the voice of the commission. I would like to resolve some issues before our August meeting. I came here this evening to get answers, not to cause conflict. It's come to my attention that the Parks and Recreation Commission was asked not to get involved with the repair of the town pool or the construction of a possible replacement. Is this true? If so, why?
Not to, I don't recall telling anybody that you cannot be involved at all. No, not at all.
Well, the people that I see seem to think that's the fact. But anyway, it is quite possible that my commissioners may decide, in the light of the res building fiasco, not to entertain the pool issue at all. Next, up to now, we the commissioners have been under the belief that the Parks and Recreation Commission was basically an advisory group with limited powers. However, recently Town Code 54-1 was brought to my attention. And I quote, "Commission established powers. The power to equip and operate playgrounds and recreation centers shall be exercised by a Park and Recreation Commission, hereby established in and for the town of Woodbury, which commission shall possess all of the powers and be subject to all of the responsibilities of the town board on the provisions of Article 13 of the General Municipal Law in respect to the same." It's amazing what you can find on the internet. I won't read this whole section over here, but it's called General Municipal number 242. It refers to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Authorized by this article, may equip such playgrounds and recreation centers and buildings thereon, and may construct, maintain, and operate in connection therewith public baths and swimming pools. Such local authorities may, for the purpose of carrying out the object of such playgrounds or recreation centers, employ play leaders, playground directors, supervisors, recreation secretary, superintendent, or such other officers or employees as they deem proper. Now, that's Code 54 and General Municipal number 242 appear to give the Parks and Recreation Commission much greater power and a lot more to say. On my way up to the podium, I gave a copy of said 54-1 and 242 to town, to our town attorney. So if you could ask him for an interpretation of such, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Any questions?
I do, Fred. So you said in regards to the pool that you were informed by someone, was it any,
More than one.
more than one, was it a board member?
No.
Okay. So I appreciate you coming to the board because I would hope that if you hear anything, it would be from us directly.
Well, I think some of it might have come off, most of the information I got was probably third hand. So.
But I appreciate you coming to us directly because unless you hear it from the board itself, it's hearsay. So I just want to make sure that it wasn't a board member that informed you of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
But my main concern was not that subject. It was really, you know, what are our real powers that, what I found on the internet, you know, 54-1 and 242 of this was my main concern since it seems to give us a lot more power and possibly we don't even want all that power. You know, it sounds like too much in a way.
Well, I mean, definitely, I'm interested in reading it, and I'm sure the board members are, but I definitely want to, you know, if we need to have some kind of communication, I'd be happy to come down for the commissioners to discuss that with me.
Yeah, well, like I said, I wanted to get some of this resolved before our August meeting.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I did talk to some of the members, and, you know, they were concerned and, you know, they didn't know what to do.
Is the sentiment that the commissioners are not being valued?
Well, that has been implied in the past, too.
And so in the recent year, the commissioners feel that they're not being valued in their position.
Yes,
So I definitely will come to the next meeting and we'll discuss this.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions in regard to that?
I have one first. So first of all, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. So my question is that you've had a meeting prior, or you're gonna discuss this at this meeting?
I'm going to discuss this at the meeting, I believe it's the 23rd of August.
And this has been rumbles that you've been hearing?
Yes,
Among
yes.
others that
In
they're
other
concerned?
words, there are other members of the commission that are aware of the situation.
Okay, and you mentioned about basically when you speak about 54-1 with the rules of authority, basically about the commissioners. Is this something that you guys are not aware of that
Correct.
authority you have?
Correct.
So being that you do have that, is there a reason that you want to bring this to our attention? Is there something that you need to explain to us?
Well, you know, if you read it and you're not a lawyer, you can interpret it. How do you want to interpret this? You know what I mean? To me, it's, you know, when there's a shall and there's a may, you know, what does it really mean? I just want somebody to tell us, what does this really mean? And that's why I gave a copy to the manager.
Okay, thank you.
So he can.
No, I appreciate it, thank you.
No, because I was unaware of it, and I believe the other members were unaware of this also. So I just want to. Anything else?
The other thing I'd like to say in response to this is that we've had several meetings on the pool. Joey knows I always ask to make sure that the commissioners know about it. We've had some meetings where some of your commissioners have been at those meetings.
Yes,
So,
I'm aware of it.
so we are not taking you out of the loop. And we do try to get you involved or anyone involved. But in the end, it is the town board decision. This is not something that we can have lingering around for years or for months. We do have a time schedule. We want to be able to open the pool up for next year, and so we're just moving along. And if someone comes along, you're more than welcome to. We never tell you you can't come to a meeting. You're always invited. And when the commissioners come, in fact, I think Mr. Smith had quite a bit to say at the last meeting, and we took a lot of his things into consideration. So, I don't think it's fair that what you're saying is that we don't want you to have anything to do with the pool. But other than that, I hear what you're saying, and as Jackie said, she'll be at your next meeting and she'll address it.
Well, Joey did invite me to one meeting, and then he left a message on my machine. Unfortunately, I wasn't home. I think it was last notice. And then he told me about a second one, which was also, I had already planned something for that day, so I couldn't attend it. Now, I have spoken to Mr. Smith, and he did fill me in on, what was transpired at the last meeting that he was at.
Good, thank you.
Robin Kraus, Highland Mills. Several items for follow-up, actually. The first one is the former Gasho property. Now that the soil has been, the so-called contaminated soil has been tested and deemed clear and safe, and the roadway paved, I was wondering a couple of things. There was a budget modification in June for the blacktopping of $20,000, $154, sorry. Did it come in on, it was for the blacktopping?
For which one, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, for the,
There were two that we did.
Okay.
We did up by the community center,
Right, okay, sorry.
which did come in on budget, and the second one was for the gal show.
Right.
God bless you. That came in a little under, it was like about 18,000.
It came in at 18,000
We paid 18,000, it's on this abstract, if I'm not mistaken.
on this, okay,
Yes.
missed it, sorry, okay. Yes, I'm sorry, I was speaking about the roadway to the former Gasho property.
Yes.
Because that was the budget mod was 20,000, I was wondering if it came in, and you just answered that question, it actually came in under, so that's great. Do we have I know obviously with the purchase of the property in the back, again, staying with the Gasho property, Iron Chef now. We had a deed, I'm sure, for the purchase. Does that deed also include the roadway?
Yes, that is our roadway.
Okay, no, I know,
That's
but
why we
does-
paved it.
Okay, right, no, I understand that, but does the deed that we have include the roadway, not just the acreage in the back?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the entire piece of property
Okay.
from 32 up.
Okay, thank you, that answers that. I appreciate that. Staying in Central Valley, a couple of points of clarification regarding the proposed pool. There was an agreement, a proposed agreement, I should say, dated May 20th, 2019, from the engineer that came to the July 3rd meeting, Mr. Petrocone. I might be mispronouncing his
No,
name.
you got it right.
I apologize for that. And realizing it was proposed, but at the time of that proposal, it offered specs, and I'm hoping all the board members saw it, or whatever, detailed specs and some pricing and whatnot. But it also indicated that it would be a proposal for 400 acres. Again, realizing it was just a
No,
draft,
400 what?
I have it right
I
here.
just can't hear what you said.
That the proposal among the specs talked about capacity for 400 bathers.
Oh, okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
But my question is, I don't, again, granted it was probably a draft at the time, but then at your July meeting, there was a whole different proposal, a rendering even, from this, Mr. P, I'll call him, with the capacity listed as 705 acres. So one of my questions is, between May and July, or June, when you put it together, where did the large number of bathers increase from?
And it was
Where did that
always,
come from?
maybe it's a little mistaken in the numbers, but it's always been 700.
Okay, but that proposal said 405.
I don't recall what proposal you're talking about.
Proposal right here.
Pictures.
dated May 20th from Mr. Petrocoli.
Okay.
Only he signed it though, so it's not a legal
No.
agreement, I'm sure, but in it he talks about a capacity of 405.
Yeah, no, we,
400, I correct myself actually.
he may have just been talking about a specific portion, because Joey, it was always 700, wasn't it?
Okay, well, that's fine.
No problem.
No, I appreciate the clarification. So also staying with that proposal, the initial proposal, May, between May and July, have you interviewed any other engineers besides this
No.
gentleman?
No, he was referred to us
Fine.
by a person out in Long Island, a pool, people who build pools. And when I spoke to them, they asked who our pool engineer was, and I said, I don't have one. And he referred this gentleman to me. He says he lives right in your area. And then when I spoke to Al, if you ever heard about him, is the same person that Al does work with on pools, so.
Al works with, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I say, how'd you come to Long Island actually?
We were looking for places that build commercial pools, and I found one out in Long Island. I just gave him a call. Right, Joey, we were calling how many people?
We'll take a thing from Fred. The internet does wonderful things.
Yes. He's right.
We went on the internet looking, and one thing led to another, and that's how we found it.
Okay, so it wasn't out of thin air basically. Okay, well, that's good. Okay, so that answers that. Again, going back to the proposal of May, it talks about an $8,000 retainer prior to the commencement of work. Has that retainer been paid yet?
Yes.
Okay. And when? I don't remember seeing it on the abstract.
I
You remember?
don't remember the exact date,
Okay,
but,
that's all right, I'll
but it's
follow.
been paid.
That's okay, but, okay. And then there was also, again, going back to that proposal of May, a $15,000 payment required upon receipt of all approvals. So the whole board is in tune with this proposal in May, even though it
Right.
wasn't signed by the town. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And that he has not been paid yet,
Um,
because he hasn't done anything with that.
Right, okay,
Okay.
but he did do the specs.
He is working on it right now. I should say as we speak, but I don't know. But he is working on it. I've mentioned to him that he's gotta get it to me, by a certain time, because I've got a budget coming up, and I need to have numbers, real numbers, so that, I can properly put them into the budget.
And the scope of the work, again, in that May memo was for 30,000, is that still
Yes,
what you're thinking of?
yes.
You mean the board, obviously. Okay. Put down my own notes, sorry. Oh, at the July, I couldn't make the July 18th meeting, which
Okay.
is certainly not your problem, but I did look at the minutes where bonding for the pool, proposed pool was discussed.
Yes.
So again, and it's all well and good to be, ahead of the game and have discussions before it actually happened, but what figures, were discussed?
We don't have exact numbers yet. We're trying to,
Ballpark?
around 3 million.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, Wendy, you said there's a time crunch, and you had said that a couple of meetings ago, I totally understand that. And I certainly, if it's a go, then I would like to see it happening, for next season as well. However, personally, as a taxpayer, I'd like to see it done right. And take your time and know what you're doing and know what you're asking, and ask somebody else if you don't know what you're asking, would be my suggestion.
I think.
$3 million is an awful lot of money for a pool that we've had to repair 3 times for the same problem, or very similar problems. So I wouldn't want to repeat history.
That's why we went out and got a pool
Okay.
engineer this time.
Well, okay, we won't go into that right now. All right. On to other matters. But again, staying financial. At the March 25th joint meeting with the village and the town regarding the lawsuit, Jackie, you were asked to take the lead at that meeting, and I believe it was Trustee Flood that asked you at that time, what was the cost at that time that the town has incurred for this lawsuit as of that date?
Your answer understandably was, I don't have that figure in front of me and I'm paraphrasing, this is not a direct quote, but that I will get it to you at the next meeting. Well, that came and went. April 22nd came around, which was the second joint meeting with the village and the town. I believe Trustee Flood asked you again because you were asked to spearhead that meeting. What is the cost of the current, at that time, the current town cost thus far for the litigation? And you had no answer.
I believe at that time, Supervisor Palermo was the one that said that he would get those numbers for the group. So I would refer that to Supervisor Palermo if you would like that.
No, I don't have those numbers with me right now, though.
Okay.
It's ongoing,
Yes, I know, in the
Yeah,
last two
it's
abstracts,
ongoing.
the town spent
Ongoing.
$30,000 just in
Okay.
2 abstracts alone,
okay,
okay?
yeah.
So, let's think about, perhaps, cut this at its core, end the lawsuit, look at the amount of money that you could save the town to put into this proposed pool and saving the taxpayers from extra bonding that we probably don't need to do. Perhaps. Food for thought for the board. I just need your help understanding why you continuously, you collectively, do not release that information. I still think that you owe it to the taxpayers, and yourselves are included in that, of course, but you know the numbers. We do not. Just an argument, not even an argument, you wrong choice of words, my apologies. The village cost thus far in answering the town's litigation is $42,000, $210 as of yesterday. Okay? I asked and I got the number immediately. That's all I have for right now.
Anybody else? Okay, let's go on with the meeting. I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of 7/18/2019.
I'll motion.
Second.
All in favor? Desiree, can you please read the abstract, number 15?
Abstract number 15 contains vouchers 2019-1250 and 2019-1335 and totals $444,949.36.
I need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Desiree. And, excuse me, budget modification?
There are 4 this evening, all to 2019 budget. The first is to the Buildings and Grounds Department by increasing A1620.431 wildlife management by $4,400, decreasing A1620.448 miscellaneous by $2,000, and increasing A599 appropriate fund balance by $2,400. The next is also to the Buildings and Grounds Department by increasing A1620.446 community center propane by $10,000 and increasing A599 appropriate fund balance by $10,000. The third is also for the Buildings and Grounds Department by increasing A1620.405 custodial supplies by $3,000 and decreasing A1620.412 electrical work by $3,000. And the last is for the Police Department by increasing B3120.430 transportation travel by $5,000 and decreasing B1940.400 unallocated insurance by $5,000.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Desiree. I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Who made the motion?
Chairman, check.
Okay, we have, I need a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the NYMER renewal proposal. That's our insurance. It's for $134,209, and it is an increase of $4,362 from last year's. And on this year's, I think the increase has to do with, we were not paying insurance on Berkeley Field, and so now we are. We had to put in all our equipment and everything that's on there. And also, we have a new building, so those things probably have something to do with going up. With that. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion and a second to authorize the supervisor to sign designating NYPA as the seeker lead agency for communication backbone execution plan. What this is state has a proposal that's gonna be coming through our town for electrical work. And all it's asking us is to not have a problem with them being the lead agency, since they're doing it from start to finish. And we don't need to be the lead agency, we're just kind of Woodbury. So I need a motion and a second for that.
One second.
All in favor? Discussion on municipal audit services. This is a group that comes in and checks out your cable contracts, and they look to see if they can save you money. It's very interesting. They are working with the Village of Harriman, and they are also working with South Blooming Grove. And I happened to mention it to Joe because I wanted him to look at it before I went any further. And Joe being the attorney for South Blooming Grove, yeah, Joe.
Yes, they've been very successful. The village of South Blooming was very pleased with the services that they performed, and they actually over 64% reviews and that.
Well, it doesn't cost us anything, and they get a 45%,
That's what I was trying to find. I read that deal. I was just trying to figure out
yeah, the fee, it's, we don't pay them anything. Harriman hasn't paid them a nickel, and I don't think South
They
Blooming.
only
No,
get
it comes out of whatever
Yeah.
money they may find it. There are
Exactly.
other companies that do this, we did this a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so, I've gotten rave reviews for them, so I'm asking that we, give them a call and ask them to come in and do what they gotta do.
Yeah, if I read the cover letter correctly, if the board wants to proceed, they'll send us a contract for the supervisor to review.
Correct.
So you're really just authorizing the supervisor to get more information on this and
Okay. And then I won't sign anything until, you get some more information.
right, until the
Yeah.
board approves. Right.
Exactly. Okay?
You want to make a motion, I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. We need to schedule I need a motion and a second to schedule a police commissioner's work session for, Monday, August 5th at 7 PM. It's to interview the SRO officers.
Now, Mr. Super, I don't think it needs to be a work session, it's just a police commission meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me.
Police commission.
Okay, so this is a police commissioner's meeting. I need a motion and a second. I got the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Can we just go back and back for a second? Just for the record, you're actually holding a town board work session. But you will then conclude the work session and go into the police commission meeting.
That's what it says here.
I did that on the advice of my attorney who called me this evening.
Which one? You have two
That's why you
signatures?
should be
You get two
I
signatures?
just want that to be clear that I had this down right, but someone called me this evening and said, oh, I was going over your agenda and, okay. So we are going to hold a work session and then a police commissioners meeting. Thank you. Okay,
We didn't do motion then, because he was talking about it.
I make the motion.
And
And I second.
All in favor? Aye. Discuss and approve the auction items, Desiree?
Yes.
What do you want us to, just make a motion to put up, to authorize you to?
Yes, I
to-
received responses back from 3 departments only. I forwarded to the
Correct.
massive list from the library, which probably will get sold to one group, to be honest with you. A desk in their office and a couple of pieces of equipment from other departments.
Okay.
So you just need to authorize me to
To advertise.
for auction.
Yep.
Could make a request that after reading the paperwork, they should type up the paperwork correctly, you know, the school is. It's just a
Well,
request.
they don't have a typewriter or a computer that buildings and grounds, so, but when we send it over to,
You think we have something we can give them?
yes, when I send it over to the auction company, I will redo it.
Yeah, okay.
But after getting the really long list from this library, I wasn't able to do
No
it.
problem. Understood.
Okay. I need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next, I need a motion and a second to appoint Antonio Sicily as temporary ADCO, non-union, for 10 hours a week, $15 an hour, effective 8/5/2019. Do I have a motion? I'll make the motion. I interviewed him with Pam. He's a young kid. He's in high school. I think he's going into college next year. He's very ambitious. He does catch wild animals that are abandoned, and he does take them in and take care of them, and I mean everything. So I'll make the motion. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. And then I need an appointment for Brittany J. Mannion as also an ADCO part-time for 20 hours a week at $16.36 per hour. And it's going to be effective 8/10, because she's away and she'll be back on the 10th. Thank you. I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last thing, it's an additional item, is to authorize both the deputy supervisor, Jackie Hernandez, and myself to sign the DASNY forms as required by the New York State. This is for the $300,000 grant that we received from Assemblyman James Cooper at the time.
Make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, board comments? Jackie?
Just really quickly, I had an opportunity to go to the animal shelter and see what, actually, I got to tour a lot of the departments a couple of weeks ago as we were going through for just some minor things that we had to do for our employee manual, and it was really nice to kind of see where, you know, all of the departments and see the work that every department head does within their area. So I just really wanted to commend the department heads and the types of services that they provide to the town, as well as the hard work that they put in. You really don't see it until you're there watching it. So I did get a chance to see the animal, our animal shelter, and just the hard workers that are there. So I'm really excited that they're going to get the very much help that's needed. So I just wanted to commend our department heads.
Councilman?
I just want to bring to light that I spoke to Chief Watson and Supervisor Plummer in regards to Route 32, construction around the Commons area. Apparently lanes are changing continuously, and that we are aware, we're paying attention, we're paying close attention. At night, it can get really dark that you don't see what road you're on, and that the residents just be careful. We'll request that Safe Construction could maybe add some extra lighting as you're coming up the New York State Thruway or just coming on Route 32, because you could come off and go onto the side road, and that's just a concern to us. So I'm listening, we're all listening to residents, and hopefully some of that stuff will be addressed.
Desiree?
Just if you're gonna have an extra item, can you just let me know ahead of time so I can?
Yeah, that's at the very end, but I can get that stuff. You're welcome, no problem. Chief? Right. I'm right here. Lieutenant, did you want to say anything? Joey? Okay, I know that before we have our next meeting on August 10th, we have the, is it Kids Day? Joey, at the pool?
August 10th is Pool Blast,
That's it, the pool blast.
and August 17th is Field Day.
And August 17th is Field Day. See, he had nothing to say, but, it's okay, don't worry about it. So please, it'll both will be at the John Burke Memorial Pool. It's a great day for everybody on this Saturday, no, next Saturday coming. There'll be free hot dogs and hamburgers, and on the next day, it'll be like an Olympic type thing, but they have all kinds of events on the 17th. I'd like to bring about something that happened in the last few weeks, probably even less than two things that happened in the last 2 weeks. Number one, as we know, someone tried taking stuff off of someone's property over in Highland Lakes Estates, and with the fine police work that we had, and we caught them like in a matter of minutes. And then just this past week, Officer Roman was patrolling through town, and he spotted a man that he recognized, get out of the car, went to go interview and see what was going on, called for some backup, and that man was carrying a loaded pistol, an illegal pistol, not licensed. He had cocaine on him, and he had $3,000 in money. I bring it up not to bring fear into the people who are living here, but to talk about the fine work that police work and Mr. Roman, Officer Roman, did while he was out there on patrol. We have probably one of the best police departments in the state of New York. I think they're the finest. They do great work, and it really bothers me that I know that people are actually suing the town and the police department because they say we discriminate, when it's completely false. So I want to thank the chief, the lieutenant, our police department, and Officer Roman for doing a terrific job out there and putting their life on the line for us, our safety. Other than that, I'm going to make a motion to go into attorney-client with two attorneys tonight, so you can imagine how long we're going to be here, regarding both personnel matters and what are we talking with you, Joe?
Just general updates on matters of the board.
Thank you. So I need a motion and a second.
I will motion.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Have a great night.
So I'm sorry, did you just adjourn or make a motion to go into a closed session? Because you don't need a motion to go into a closed session. Only an executive
No,
session.
we're adjourning, but we're going into a closed session. So I'll make the motion to adjourn. I need a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Thank you.